It's officially time to embrace our new title as RVers. Weekend warriors, part-timers. Before we head off on our very first trip, we need to figure out how we're going to load stuff from our new house, which is still not completely done because you can hear the echo, into our brand new Alliance Delta that's sitting out in the driveway. Well, there's Pearl, and there she is. So that's not where we're going to store, but it's where we're going to pull her up to when we need to load and do some things. So let's start off with talking about one thing real quick. So if it's your first time here, just a real quick, my name is Ryan. My wife is Lauren, who you'll see here in a little bit, and we are Millers in Motion. We full-time RV'd for the last 3 years, and officially, as of about a month ago, sold that RV and purchased this, an Alliance Delta 252 RL, just under 30 feet long. And we also purchased a house in Texas where we felt the need to kind of put down some roots and be close to family because they're starting to need more and more help. So what we're going to talk about in this video is we're going to go through and kind of pack. Lauren's already done that. She's actually at work. She's going to catch up with us later. We're getting ready to go on a shakedown trip. So we're only going to spend a couple of nights at a local campground. She's never camped in this rig. I did, bringing it back from Indiana, but only briefly, and I didn't have anything. So we're going to try and get used to how things work, where things should go, how it travels, all of that stuff, so that we can start prepping for bigger trips. So let me show you what Lauren's already done. Okay, so things that have already happened. So we've already kind of put everything where we wanted to. We shot a video about kind of getting it ready to go for the first time, so go back and see that. We have added a couple of things. So we added a paper towel holder that's just stuck up right there. The paper towels aren't up there yet because it just did that yesterday. We added a few shelving things. So we added a little shelf in here because I kept elbowing everything on that one. So that shelf with command strips, and then a soap holder. And then we replaced the shower head with an Oxygenics. I just didn't like that other one. So in the bedroom, Lauren opted for one of these. She didn't use it, and she had it in the old RV. She didn't use it in the house, so she brought it in here. She likes to fold stuff a little bit more. I like to hang, so mine's still empty over there. And then above here, we're just repurposing some soft baskets. Again, mine side is empty because I haven't packed yet. So I was leaving that for today. But again, she had to leave for work, so she did most of this last night. Also, I'm going to talk a little bit about food because there's our pantry. Yes, I know we got some, I don't even know if you call them donuts, but some little guilty pleasure stuff down there. But we did get a few things. We do have some stuff in the fridge back in the house that I need to grab, but we're going to talk about food, clothes, and kind of the things that come and go with us as we get back to the house. So today we are heading over to Twin Coves Campground. It's kind of a staple for us. That's where we took our shakedown trip in our very first Grand Design Solitude RV that we had. And then we took the Valor back there for a shakedown. We actually spent on and off over the winter, almost like a month and a half there last year because we were going to be in Florida for so long for RV Unplugged Season 2 production, as well as the Tampa RV Super Show. I guess that was 2 years ago now. So, but with this rig, we're obviously going to kind of figure out how it works. There's already a few things that I don't love. We're also contending with a little bit of weather, so we may have to cut a little bit short depending on what happens there, but we're only planning on staying 2 nights at this. Okay, first and foremost, we've been moving for the last 2 weeks now, and in doing that, I took my bins that had a lot of tools and stuff in it. This is some wood that when we're back, until we can get a building built where we'll put the RV that I can park the RV on. It's just some 10 by 10s. No, that's not right. It's a 2 by 10 that's 10 feet long. I'll probably have to cut it a little bit, but the idea is that our rear jack is right behind the tires, and so I can put that jack on there instead of having to put something else down to keep it from sinking into the ground until we can get our snap pads installed, which all a work in progress. So I need to get the tools back in before I do anything else. First and foremost, camera gear. So I actually have an office now, so my camera bag got unpacked, but I repacked it. So I'm only taking essentials for that exact trip. These are my 2 tripods. One of them I use for either the GoPro or the DJI, and then this is our big tripod for the camera that I'm shooting on now. And then my camera bag, this thing has been all around the world with me. It is my computer's in there, and then all the camera gear we might need, plus batteries, chargers, all that good stuff. This is a little preview. This is actually my office, but this corner that is blank and blank is about to look very, very different, because that is where the new set of the RV Shenanigans podcast is going to be. Yes, that's coming back. If you want to check out some past episodes, they're here on the channel, as well as on Spotify and Apple Music and all the places you find the platforms. You can either search our name, Millers in Motion, or RV Shenanigans. It's fun. I love it. We've been asked a bunch about where is it. It's in hiatus because I still have to build this. But this is my office. I have built a little bit of a desk area, kind of got situated. So a little behind the scenes for you. Something else I did too was I actually turned the fridge on this morning. That's something we have to remember to do. We'll turn it on and off when we put it back in storage versus bringing it out. So that's been on. There's nothing in it yet, but it's kind of starting to cool down. I checked it when I was just in there. It's really, really close. So there's a handful of things. We actually went to the grocery store for us for the entire week since we're not going too far away. And guilty pleasure, we're going to eat out tonight. But we do have some stuff. We are planning on cooking a few meals. But before we do that, I'm going to get some clothes together. I will say it's weird having room for stuff. So this is still all my clothes right here. So I actually accumulated quite a bit more since we moved out of the RV. But so I'm literally going to leave stuff on hangers and take it right in. I'm hoping that kind of works. And then I've got a couple of bins, kind of like Lauren did. And this is where I'm going to put like socks, undies, t-shirts, that kind of stuff. Anything I would fold, and I'm just going to shove it up above. And then I'll probably take a pair of flip-flops, but I'm not really sure where I'll put those. So let's get some stuff moved. So we're only staying for 2 nights, so that's not too much. So I'm not really taking a whole lot. I'm taking a couple of t-shirts to sleep in, and then I'll probably take one just to have in case we go on a hike or something, which in case means we are definitely doing it. And then you need underwear. I'm going to grab a hat that I don't mind sweating in, which is going to be this one. So that's pretty much everything with this particular trip. These are so big because we obviously have longer trips planned that we're going to go do and take. But we would need the room potentially eventually. So let's get this out there, and then I'll talk about the rest of it. So I think it's important to say too in this is that this is going to be a moving target. Nothing about RVing is something that stays permanent for very long, simply because you find new and creative ways to do things that will make it easier for you, make it more fun, make it pretty much whatever. So that's for now how we're going to go with it. So even with this stuff, there's the hanging portion. So you can put a shelf in here. I just dropped it down to the bottom because I'm going to hang stuff because I prefer that. But you accept the fact that you're also going to change things kind of as you go so that you can adapt. That's the story of RV life. Things happen. Roll with the flow. All right. Clothes acquired. All right. Hypothetically. Oh, geez. Sorry. Hypothetically, these will just go right in here. And they hang down a little bit, but that's fine. No biggie. Ta-da. Done. If you notice, there's sheets on the bed back there, but there's no pillows or blankets or anything. We're just going to take the ones that we use. So we didn't make the bed, so don't judge me in a second. Also, this video, how I'm shooting it, kind of the quickness of it, it feels like some of our first videos when we started to get better at this. And it's kind of fun because this was like the last time I shot a video like this, we were at the old ranch or the old house. And yeah, it's just kind of fun. So let's do bedding. Hello, are you ready to go on a trip? Yes. Okay, again, don't judge because we were leaving, we didn't necessarily make the bed this morning, but we're literally just going to grab our pillows and our blankets and take them out. Okay, sorry, I didn't have enough hands to show you that, but for like toiletries and stuff, eventually what we're going to do is get some little plastic bins. I'm using this in my drawer here just to like hold stuff, but something like this that will pack up when we need to take bigger things. Because we're only going to be gone for a couple of days, we're just going to treat it like we're going on a trip, kind of like when we flew out to LA for the cruise. We're just going to put everything in toiletry bags, and that's going to work just fine. I have my toiletry bag, also a Walmart bag, We needed a few things at the house and in the RV, and I had to go return some stuff that we had bought for the house, and it just didn't work out. So I went ahead and grabbed the other things we needed. So toss this in the rig. I'm getting closer. So literally, that's the extent of it. Ta-da. Also in the kitchen, we needed some like scrubbies because hand wash, and then we were out of Dawn in the RV, so I got a small little guy of that to clean stuff. And right now we're just kind of tossing stuff wherever it can fit. So, phew. I can do that with the Dawn. That's a little more aggressive. All right. I'm not sure what's left, but let's go take a look. I want to double check the fridge because we have a few things. Yep, that's nice and cold. And so is the freezer. Perfect. So let's go ahead and grab the food and bring that in. Also, when we store the RV, we don't leave the fridge on. We turn that off, and we actually do the battery disconnect so that we don't pull any batteries, any juice off the battery. We stay topped off on the 12-volt system. We don't have any sort of solar on it quite yet. We're working on that. But whenever we get close to doing that, what we'll do is kind of, we'll turn the batteries on when we're ready. Oops. We'll turn the batteries on when we get ready to go. And then from there, what we'll do is actually turn the fridge on like the morning of. It takes about 4 or 5 hours to get to a temperature where you're comfortable putting food in it. So I'm going to grab that stuff from the fridge and take that out next. So this is another one of those scenarios where we have some bins from our old fridge in the RV. And what we'll do is when we get ready to need that, we'll just jump into the fridge and put like condiments or whatever else we want to put in there and then take it. But because we're only gone for a short period of time, I'm going to take Lauren's leftovers from dinner the other night, and then she kind of put together all of this stuff in case we wanted it out there, which is pretty simple. We're just going to do like sandwiches and easy stuff on this trip. All right. So will I actually unpack any of this stuff? No. And in the bins, the idea is that we'll just slide the bins in too. So I'm literally just going to put that down there. Lauren's leftovers in case she wants it in there. And we have an extra gallon of milk that we bought at Costco just because the expiration dates were really far out. So I went ahead and grabbed it for next week. That's the beauty of like what we're talking about doing. You guys are low, that's why I'm crouching. Is because like we're talking about going out for a lot of weekends. Plus we're also talking about going out for a handful of week trips and then a few maybe even longer ones. But when we come and go, we can just take stuff from the house that we already have and put it in here, and then vice versa. So if you're a weekend warrior, I'm super curious how you do food and that kind of stuff. Like, do you leave any dry goods on your coach? We weren't planning on it just because we don't want bugs and stuff to get in. But yeah, we're learning. So if you guys are part-timers out there, let us know. We're very used to full-time. And so this is a little bit of an adjustment for us trying to think this way. So because we're not used to part-timing, that's why I'm doing this video, because well, we believe in showing the good, bad, the ugly, the great, all of the in-between. RVing's amazing, but it can also have its moments, and during the learning process, that's one of those moments. Also, we're super new to the house still. We've only been in it for a few weeks, and so, and one of those weeks I was gone at the Masters, and so we're adapting, but we're doing that phase where we are walking in and out of rooms a lot going, wait, that's not in here. So if you do have a house in an RV and you just moved in, tips would be great. So there's no like door milk thing that's big enough for a gallon, so we've just been putting it there. I traveled back from Indiana that way when I picked it up and it seemed to do fine. So also I don't think we need to put a strap on. These Furions have a latch, so you can't just open it. You have to actually push down. Same with the above. Like it won't just open on its own, so. I guess if you want to see if it opens, you check next week's video out because we're towing it. So as I make my 14,000th walk from the RV to the house, joking, it's been like 4, I have a question for you. Do you guys prefer this style of kind of, ooh, I got dark. Do you guys prefer this style of kind of like run and gun shooting? Or do you prefer the more cinematic, kind of what we do on travel days stuff, where it's a little bit more thought out and structured, whereas this one, I'm just kind of shooting and talking and chatting and trying to help or show you what not to do. One of the two. Let me know. I'm super curious. Okay, so this was most definitely not on the list, but Easter was just yesterday, and we went to my parents' house, and we told them we'd bring some dessert, and well, ice cream is near and dear to our hearts, so Lauren doesn't know this, but we picked up some Brahms ice cream for Easter the other day, and I'm gonna bring the chocolate because this is probably the best ice cream on the planet. And if you're from Texas, you know, and Oklahoma and some of the areas around, Brahms is, it's very, very good. So check it out if you're in the area. You know, a lot of us in the content creator RV community talk about lists and the importance of doing them when you're doing like your walk arounds before you leave, before you do anything with the RV, of having a list. If you're a part-timer, I want to know, do you guys have like a packing list, like a standardized packing list to make sure you have everything, or at least thought about everything? So like for this trip, and this is a moving target, we've got clothes, like toiletries, the bedding. Lauren took care of a lot of stuff, so I have a lot of individual things that I want to check, especially with the camera bag. Our food, which I just loaded. Next is the dogs. And so I'm just curious, like if you do have a packing list, what does that look like? If you don't mind sharing it, I'd love to see it. If you go to millersinmotion.com, at the very bottom of the page, there's a contact us thing, and you can actually send us a message. So I'd be curious if that's something you have or do, because we have them being full-time, but when you're full-time, you just pack up and roll, which we intend on doing either a podcast or a video on some of our differences, how we like it, that kind of stuff. We just want to take at least 3 to 5 trips first, part-time, so that we can talk about it reasonably. So that's coming at some point. All right, let's get the dogs squared away. One of the things we love most about RVing is actually being able to take our dogs. So if we're going out for a longer trip, we're still trying to figure out how we want to take their food with us. For this trip, we're going to do like if we were taking them to the boarding place that we use, that we love, is we're just going to bag it up, and I kind of portioned it out based on what they need for how long we're going to be gone. And then we take their scoop, which is how we measure out their food, and then their bowls. Because we're only gone for a little bit, one of their bowls during the day will double as a water bowl. Typically in that scenario, we would bring, like if we're gonna go longer, they have like an auto dispense water thing. We'd probably take that. That's what we used in the Valor. That's what we used in all of them. We just had a couple versions of them because we used to put it outside too. So, and then their medicines. All right, let's get this to the rig. So what we're gonna do is potentially just put their dog food somewhere kind of down in the pantry for now, because I don't really know what to do with it, to be completely honest with you. So that's one of the things we're trying to figure out on this trip too, is when we go out longer, how or where are we going to put their dog food? For this trip, again, we're just kind of out there shaking it down, learning. I'm just going to stick it right there for now. Alliance upgraded these to where these actually slide in and out now. And because of the weight of it, we put it down there low. That shelf almost touches down there, which is actually the storage for where the griddle is on the outside. And then we have a breaker box back here. So, but yeah, we're going to go with that and see how it goes. So with that, we are pretty much loaded. And I say that we're not completely loaded yet because we need to hook up, take the dogs, but that's next week for you guys. So come along. We're going to go on our Shakedown trip, take you along for the ride. Again, we're going to one of our favorite campgrounds in the world. So we'll showcase that and some of the hiking trails. We got asked to show the hiking trails a little bit better this next time because somebody commented and they'd been there and they're like, the hiking trails are amazing. Show them better. So we're going to do that when we're out there. So until next time, hopefully this was informative and helpful in some way. If you've got tips for us, by all means, leave them down in the comments, and we will see you guys next week on our Shakedown trip. Bye, Mom.